Nigeria pledges to meet financial obligations in respect of all agreements with China.
That this republic will fall and consume us all if we do not put in place a practical plan to clean up our crucial public and private institutions.
Fight against corruption raised to a new level as National Assembly opens conference on its role in the war. Plus, broadcasting described as a tool for growing economies as the 11th edition of the International Conference of African Broadcasters, Africast, opens in Abuja. A lovely evening to you and thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I am Isaac Nkuma. The federal government has expressed Nigeria's readiness towards meeting its financial obligations in respect of all agreements reached with the People's Republic of China in order to fast-track efforts at developing the nation's infrastructure. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this at an audience with the new Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Zhou Pingjian, shortly after receiving his letter of credence. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that 3 other foreign diplomats were also received by the president.
The forecourt of the Aso Rock Villa, Nigeria's seat of government, became alive once again as 4 new diplomats arrived for presidential endorsement to begin official duties in Nigeria. A welcoming diplomatic ceremony that can best be described as colorful and remarkably historic was therefore held in their honor. The ambassadors thereafter presented their letters of credence separately to the Nigerian leader, President Muhammadu Buhari. They include Mr. Zhou Pingjian of the People's Republic of China and Mr. Werner Senfer of the Republic of Austria. Others are the ambassador of the State of Israel, Mr. Guy Fieldman, as well as Mr. James Peter Kemprut of the Kingdom of Norway. President Muhammadu Buhari, at an interactive session with the envoys separately, formally welcomed them to Abuja and expressed his desire to see an improved bilateral relations between Nigeria and their respective countries. To the Chinese ambassador in particular, the president appreciated the efforts of his country's government to support Nigeria's development. He particularly commended the readiness of the Chinese public and private sectors to invest in the country, especially in areas that will directly improve the livelihood of Nigerians. President Buhari said the federal government will work hard to always meet its counterpart financial contributions for all agreements reached with the Chinese authorities during his last visit to the Asian country. While looking forward to stronger ties with China, the president said Nigeria's economy has over the years bolstered with the existing relations through technology and skills transfer in areas like rail, road, and energy development. The Chinese ambassador, Mr. Zhou Pingjian, told President Buhari that he had already been inundated with so many requests by investors from his country to explore business opportunities in Nigeria. He attributed this to what he called the remarkable and audacious change process being implemented by the Buhari administration towards safeguarding national security, fighting corruption, and restoring integrity and sanctity in all public sector transactions. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the fight against corruption cannot be won by just few people, but by the will and commitment of all Nigerians. Speaking at a national conference on the role of the legislature in the fight against corruption, organized by the National Assembly and the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, the Vice President said those given leadership roles must eschew corruption or risk creating chaos in the society. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
It is a time to close every gap in which corruption is having its way into the Nigerian system, and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who is representing President Muhammadu Buhari at today's conference, notes that since it is an agreed fact that corruption in many countries, including Nigeria, is largely responsible for the abject poverty of the majority, there should be a consensus on the need to eradicate it. And the conference, he says, is providing that opportunity.
I wish to emphasize that this must not be a finger-pointing exercise. What is required is a consensus of reasonable men and women who realize that the current path will destroy us all. That such a consensus will produce a coalition of the like-minded from the executive, the judiciary and the legislature, united by a common cause and a proposition, namely, that this republic will fall and consume us all if we do not put in place a practical plan to clean up our crucial public and private institutions.
Excellency Muhammadu Buhari is on the right path. He has given us that clarion call. He is now recognized the world over as one of the chief fighters against corruption. But I can tell you that no matter how well-intentioned he is, he's not going to succeed unless you support him as the legislators. He's not going to succeed unless the institutions are strengthened.
Senate President Bukola Saraki says the legislature will continue to do its part in building systems that prevent corruption and punish offenders.
As we play our part in the legislature, other arms of government must be determined to do the same. It is my view that the judiciary on its part must take steps to modernize itself, create an environment and ensure a speedy and quality of justice. They must be able to give what is necessary to support the executive and the legislative arm.
The conference was organized by the National Assembly and the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Meanwhile, Nigerian youths have thrown their weight behind the present administration's fight against corruption. Adebola Brooksling Sunday reports that the young Nigerians in a solidarity march believe that the move will go a long way in ensuring a better future for them.
Solidarity forever. We must kill corruption now.
Nobody can fight corruption for Nigeria except Nigerians themselves. This is why these young Nigerians who believe the future is theirs are matching words with action in support of President Muhammadu Buhari's fight against corruption.
The youths who were prevented from gaining entry into the Supreme Court and National Assembly premises later spoke to newsmen.
It is because of corruption that we have unemployment. It is because of corruption that our hospitals are bad. It is because of corruption that we have bad roads. It is because of corruption that the hospitals are not working.
Economic corruption are those kind of corruption that is involved in finance, which has led this country into the devaluation, recession, and inflation.
There are many youths in the country who are jobless due to all these circumstances that happened due to corruption of the country.
Members of the network of young female leaders of ECOWAS community strongly support the fight against corruption by Mr. President, and we are solidly behind him. We will stand by him to the end of time.
The group appealed to all Nigerians to support the fight against the enemy of the nation's progress, corruption. In Abuja, Adebola Brooksling Sunday, NTA News.
In the meantime, Justice Adeni Ademola of the Federal High Court, Abuja, who was among the judges recently arrested by the Department of State Services over alleged corruption, has withdrawn from the trial of former National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki. Justice Ademola announced his decision to withdraw from the trial in the court today, hinging the reason for his action on the allegations of corruption leveled against him by the DSS, which is the prosecution in the case. The Department of State Security had on October 7th raided Ademola's house and arrested him as it claimed that huge sums of money, including foreign currencies, were found in his possession. The federal government says it has the capacity to provide quality medical care for the released 21 Chibok schoolgirls and those to be released later. The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, stated this in Abuja when he visited the girls to assess their well-being. He said the girls are in one of their excellent medical facilities in Abuja, and a team of medical doctors, nurses, psychologists, oncologists, and other professionals have been drafted to take care of them.
We are quite confident that monitoring them over the next couple of days, we will gradually win them over, improve their health status, make sure that they are nutritionally sound, and we will get them integrated back into the society.
Senate leader Aline Dume commended the Ministry of Health for the prompt response and provision of medical support to the girls. In a related development, the Senate has commended security personnel and other well-meaning corporate organizations and individuals who assisted in various ways towards securing the release of the 21 Chibok schoolgirls amongst those abducted by Boko Haram terrorists. Waziri Zayanu reports that at plenary on Tuesday, the Senate also wants intensified efforts towards ensuring the release of all others in captivity.
Raising a point of order at the plenary, Muhammad Ali Ndume described the release of the 21 Chibok girls as a silver lining in the otherwise monumental tragedy that befell the Chibok community, the Northeast, and Nigeria at large.
Their leader, that is Gloria, said, please try to get the remaining of us out there. But in doing so, she begged me to talk to the Air Force that if they carry out the air surveillance or raid in Sambisa, they should be careful so that they don't kill those that they left behind.
The most touching thing is the fact that they were said not to have been touched by anyone in the past almost 2 years.
We still have hope that the remaining girls will come back home.
We need to talk to them and to let them know that after their trauma, that there is still life for them.
Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, who presided, congratulated Nigerians, pointing out that the country now has an answer to the international community's persistent questions on the whereabouts of the girls.
Today we are very proud as a nation that we are able to have these girls rescued.
Through e-voting, the plenary confirmed the appointment of 2 justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Justice Ejembi Eko and Justice Amina Ogi's confirmation follows submission of a screening report by the Chairman Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator David Umaru. Outside plenary, Senate President Bukola Saraki has emphasized that the legislature will do everything possible to support the Gender and Equal Opportunity Bill. He stated this when 2 women organizations, Association of Nigerian Women Business Network and Women in Business Management, paid him courtesy call.
I would like this bill, on the back of that, a bill for empowerment of how we can now, at the back of the opening general economy, how can we now improve better access for women?
From the National Assembly, Waziri Zayanu, NTA News.
And still staying with the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill for an act to provide for a regulatory framework for Agricultural Credit Fund. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo reports that the bill has already passed the third reading in the Senate.
Sponsored by the House Leader Femi Gbajabiamila, the bill, among others, seeks to ensure credit support for agricultural production and efficient storage system,
to provide concessionary funding for agricultural and small-scale farmers and in the single-digit interest rate.
The House resolved to investigate mining activities that led to the death of more than 100 people in Adamawa State, moved by Representative Adamu Kamale.
To mandate the House Standing Committee on Solid Minerals to, as a matter of urgency, 1, investigate the uranium radiation in Michigan local government as reported and determine its effects on the host communities.
Other countries around the world, Mr. Speaker, are using it for power and so on and so forth. Ours is killing our people and we're doing nothing about it.
It's a radioactive element. Uranium is probably the first element of the nuclear power and is also used in generating power and is used in treatment in medicine. But the most adverse effect of uranium as an element is that it is highly radioactive.
Members resolved to investigate alleged abduction and marriage of 14-year-old Habiba Isa as moved by Nnanna Ibokwe from Imo State. The House has received the 2016 budget of the Basic Universal Service Fund from President Muhammadu Buhari for consideration. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
We're not done with the legislature. The Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, says the federal government has no plans to sell any airport in Nigeria. He stated this at the public hearing of the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation. Here again is National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo with details.
The public hearing is expected to address issues in the aviation sector, such as alleged plan to sell some airports in Nigeria and the suspension of operations by some local and international airline operators.
The House mandated the Committee on Aviation to organize a public hearing and investigate, among other things, previous and current airport concession processes.
So the first answer to the question is that we are not selling, we are not privatizing, nobody is carrying our airports anywhere or any of our structures anywhere. But we will concession them to put them to a better use.
The Deputy Speaker, Yusuf Lasson, assured Nigerians that the House of Representatives will do everything possible to rescue the aviation sector from imminent collapse.
The National Assembly, with the mandate for oversight of ministry, departments and agencies, that's MDAs, will continue to ensure that the aviation sector in particular and the ministry in general is given the necessary attention they deserve.
More than 6 airline operators were present at the hearing. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And away from the National Assembly, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the broadcast industry is a veritable tool that has the potentials in growing national economies, especially with the current digitization project underway. The minister was speaking at the opening of the 11th edition of the International Conference of African Broadcasters in Abuja. Anthony Forsen reports.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, while harping on the need to nurse the digitization process to fruition, said Africast has remained a platform for African broadcasters to share notes and take advantage of modern technology to advance the cause of development.
As broadcasters engage in new platforms, the market opportunities are increasing, providing new revenue streams. Africa must ensure that our media continues to serve its peoples in terms of security, economic well-being, and technological advancement.
The minister, in restating the potentials of digitization, which has made the federal government to commit resources to the project for a smooth transition, said Nigeria will, apart from creating jobs, also make huge income.
With utilization, the TV industry in Nigeria will be able to raise over $1 billion in 1 year. Also, digitization will increase the number of the current 450 TV stations in Nigeria today.
Pioneer Director General of the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission, Director General Nigerian Television Authority, his counterpart from Radio Nigeria, spoke on the need to engage private investors into the industry.
You have come because you believe in Africast. I believe you will go back with greater faith in Africast.
A major component of the success of the digital switchover is content. And we in NTA have a very large and rich trove of content. And we welcome all investors who are willing to open their coffers in collaboration in the process of the development of this content.
The switchover offers a lot of opportunities in Nigeria, and with those opportunities there are also challenges.
It is still vital to play developmental and educational roles without losing the entertainment and fun element of the business.
The Director General of the NBC added that the digitization project is in sync with the President Muhammadu Buhari's economic policy for Nigeria, because digitization will unleash a huge opportunity for the creative industry. In Abuja, Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
The African Broadcasters Conference, Africast, is an initiative of the Nigerian Broadcast Regulator, the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, to foster understanding among players in the industry from 1996 till date. How has the biennial conference impacted on broadcasting industry in Nigeria? Ruben Okala tells us more.
Africast is the convergence of everything and everyone in broadcasting to showcase latest products in the industry towards raising the bar of the entire broadcast environment in Africa. Over the years, participants of the conference have been broadcast engineers, content providers, manufacturers, as well as other players of the industry.
With Africast, we didn't have to travel to NAB, NAB, or to Comcast outside the world. It was brought to a very doorstep. So every broadcaster in Nigeria or Africa can easily come and see for themselves.
This gives stations the opportunity to know the latest and to know that they need to move very fast. So the impact of Africast has been so tremendous.
Africast is seen to have grown over the years to be the gateway to Africa's broadcast and media market.
Programming, content development, presentation, and I think we can improve by learning, by seeing what others are doing.
With the analog to digital transition, there'll be a lot more people that benefit from getting TV, and with TV there's education.
This year's focus is on digital terrestrial broadcasting, the imperatives of financing quality content. The 11th Biennial Conference of Africa Broadcasters has been described by participants as apt, coming a year before the digitization of the broadcast industry in Nigeria. Ruben Okala, NTA News.
Thank you, Ruben. Moving on now to security matters. Troops of the Nigerian army have suffered a temporary setback at Gashigar, a border town with Niger Republic in Borno State, Monday evening when they came under attack by suspected escaping remnants of Boko Haram terrorists. Though the troops did their best to defend the location, Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Sani Kukesheka Usman, says 13 soldiers sustained injuries while some are still missing in action. He further says the wounded soldiers are receiving treatment while efforts are ongoing in search of those missing and to clear the Boko Haram terrorists at the general area. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Educationists in Nigeria seek to get 12 million out-of-school children back in the class as the world marks International Literacy Day. Join us after this break for details.
When has it reached this? Much less this. And this. And this. And this. Help reclaim our Commonwealth. Lend your support to the fight against corruption for a better Nigeria.
The family of Okon has been taken hostage by an evil-looking creature.
The thing just show for night. Yeah, big, where?
Come in. Oh, my sister, I was there what was happening in the news. We must suddenly brought back your family.
You think you can free them? No way!
When Amatem fought appear, malaria run for cover. Amatem. Thank you. Amatem fought against some gel capsules, tablets for adults, and suspension for Pekin. Amatem does not eat somebody and are very easy to use. Ayua, remember how Amatem fought against crash pin to confirm the original and against some gel capsules. Amatem. Say no to malaria, yes to life.
The Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council invites stakeholders and the general public to the flag-off ceremony for the reintroduction of the teaching of history in primary and junior secondary school. Date, 20th October 2016. Venue, Conference Hall, National Commission for Colleges of Education, Central Business District, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. Special guests of honor, Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, Honorable Minister of State for Education, Professor Anthony Anwuka. The following are invited. Chairman, Senate Committee on Basic and Secondary Education, Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Basic Education, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, Honorable Commissioners of Education in the 36 states and FCT Education Secretary, Directors, Federal Ministry of Education, Chairman, State Universal Basic Education Boards, National Association of Private School Proprietors, All Nigerian Conference of Principals of Secondary Schools, National Association of Parent Teachers Association of Nigeria, National Union of Teachers, the media, and the general public. Professor Ismail Janaidu, Executive Secretary, NERDC announcer.
On your way home, something fascinating happens in the shop. Wow,
What's that? A tasty fruit drink shines. It's in a pouch, but not a normal pouch. It's the fascinating Capri-Sun pouch. It's great to handle and easy to use for everyone. Capri-Sun brings the real fun to drinking. Put the straw in and the fascination continues. Capri-Sun, naturally fun.
House of Chi.
The 2016 Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment meeting of the National Council of Industry, Trade and Investment will take place from Monday 24th to Thursday 27th of October 2016 at the June 12 Cultural Center, Kuto, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Theme: Diversification of Nigerian economy from overdependence on oil export. Keynote address: His Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SAN, GCON, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Who should attend? All state commissioners and PAMSECs of industry, trade, investment, commerce and tourism, CEOs of parastatals and agencies under the ministry, as well as development partners and organized private sector such as MAN, NASIMA, FACAN and others.
Participants are to arrive on Sunday 23rd.
For further information, please contact Deputy Director, Planning, email umarubuhari@yahoo.co.uk or call 0809 543 4179.
2016 National Council on Industry, Trade and Investment, Monday 24th to Thursday 27th October 2016.
Hello! Would you like some water? It's cold, especially for you.
Which era are you living in? We have a fridge.
When everything else in your house is from the present, then why are your toilet cleaning methods from the past? Harpic, all-in-one for you. Compared to other toilet cleaners, Harpic removes top stains, kills all germs, and removes bad odors for a shining, clean, and fresh toilet.
Wow!
You should also take the Harpic
all-in-one challenge.
Òwe lẹṣin ọ̀rọ̀ tí ọ̀rọ̀ bá sọnù òwe la fi ń wá. His Imperial Majesty the Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ Ọba Adéyẹyè Ẹnìtàn Ògúnwùsì Ọ̀jájá II requested the pleasure of your presence at the public presentation of the special book on ancient wisdom captioned Òwe Yorùbá, a compilation of 500 Yoruba proverbs, adages and idioms with English translation and explanations dedicated to Ọọ̀ni, compiled by Olalekan Fabilola. Date is Wednesday 19th October 2016. Venue Ruby Event Center, Ruby's Court, Akure, Ondo State. Time is 11 a.m. Special guest, Governor Akinwumi Ambode of Lagos State. Chairman of the occasion, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. Co-chairman, Chief Michael Adeojo of Eliza the Group. Chairlady, Mrs. Omotayo Omotosho MFR. Host Governor, Olusegun Mimiko. Royal Fathers, Diji of Akure, Osemawe of Ondo, Elekole of Ikole Ekiti, and others. Speakers, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, Her Excellency Olukemi Mimiko, Senator Isiaka Adeleke, Chief Dele Momotu, Elder Statesman Chief Ruben Fashionati. Forward of the book written by Elder Statesman and former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo GCFR. Come one, come all. Announcer Prince Bisi Afuye on behalf of the organizing committee.
Welcome back. You're still watching NTA Network News. The alarming figure of 12 million out-of-school children who will likely join the adult illiterate population soon has challenged educationists to turn things around. As Nigeria marks International Literacy Day, the problem of illiteracy as one of Nigeria's greatest obstacles to development calls for urgent action. Franca Uzoma-Olua has details.
50 years of the proclamation of the International Literacy Day by UNESCO, the world's population has increased significantly but very far from reducing high illiteracy rates, with 758 million illiterate adults, two-thirds of them women. In Nigeria, the illiteracy rate is still alarming, with an estimated figure of more than 50 million adult illiterates and 12 million out-of-school children.
We are downloaded with 12 million out-of-school children. And there is a need for us to do something urgently about it before they become adults and become the problems of envy.
The celebration of International Literacy Day is a reminder of Nigeria's challenges in achieving equitable and universal access to quality education for all.
Nigeria remains committed to providing quality education through effective implementation of national policies.
The event is a wake-up call to recognize and promote literacy as an instrument for the empowerment of individuals, communities, and societies.
People should be able to learn and live and improve on themselves throughout their life. Learning should start from the cradle, as they say, to the grave.
The task of eradicating illiteracy in the country is the responsibility of everybody, so as to pull hands together, and then together we can wage the crusade against illiteracy in the country.
The 2016 International Literacy Day focused on reading the past, writing the future. Franca Uzoma Olwa, NTA News.
One event in Islamic history that has remained significant in the lives of Muslims for over 1,438 years is the migration of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, from Mecca to Medina. Imam Musa Olaofe, the guest speaker at a lecture to celebrate Hijrah of 1438, says the event is phenomenal and symbolic to the teachings of truth, steadfastness and determination to worship Allah alone. Abdullahi Ajia reports that the lecture was organized by the Abuja Muslim Forum.
Presented, guest speaker Imam Musa Olaofe said the Hijrah has many lessons for Muslims, ranging from trials and tribulations to the required faith to succeed in the struggle to worship Allah.
They should emphasize on the Islamic calendar what are those things needed to be done, and then we don't need to wait until when Ramadan comes. Muharram now, Safar, Rabiul Awwal, Rabiul Thani, all the activities in each month. Then Muslim needs to be educated.
The Amir, Abuja Muslim Forum, Lukman Amo said the event was part of their contributions to educating and inspiring the Muslim Ummah with the true teachings of the Islamic faith.
We intend to inform the people that Hijrah, in addition to being the migration of the Prophet from Mecca to Medina, it is also to tell the Muslims that it is a movement from living what is bad to doing what is good. And we know that this is one of the things that will transform man. The main intention is to be the rallying point for Muslims in FCT.
In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has arrested 6 suspects for allegedly selling pre-registered SIM cards in Kano. Mohammed Rabi Ali reports that more than 100 SIM cards were recovered from the suspects during the raid.
It's a bad day for the sellers of pre-registered SIM cards in Kano as the enforcement unit of the Nigerian Communications Commission stormed the city to checkmate the trend. The commission in 2011 directed that all SIM cards must be registered to bring sanity in the system. However, some Nigerians defied the directives and continued with the sharp practices. The enforcement unit of the commission was at the popular GSM market known as Farm Center, where 4 persons were arrested in connection with the sale of pre-registered SIM cards. Similarly, the Nkura market was raided by the unit, where 2 persons were apprehended for the same offense.
We take it very seriously that we have to move up all pre-registered SIM cards from the market, and perhaps all these SIM cards are being used to commit crimes in this country. They are the same SIM card they are using to kidnap people. You can fall victim of this atrocity.
Salisu Abdu further says the commission will not rest on its oars until the sharp practices is eliminated.
What the suspects are doing is they register the SIM card, remove it from its pack and put it in their phones, put across a call for 1 minute, and then return it back to the SIM pack. If you observe, most of the SIM card, they use sellotape to tie it back to the SIM pack.
Similar exercise has been carried out in Abuja and Niger, as other states are expected to follow suit. The suspects have been charged to court for investigation and prosecution. From Kano, Muhammad Rabi Ali, NTA News.
Our time now to join Ademola Adoye in our Lagos Network Center for more on the news. Hello Ademola, it's over to you. It seems Demola lost his voice there. We'll rejoin them as the news continues. Now, moving on, let's talk business. $136 million is to be invested in West Africa Agricultural Productivity Program. Details of the investment profile and other economic matters with Muplang Dakok on Business News.
Hello and thanks for joining us on Business News. The federal government has pledged to provide her counterpart funding for the West Africa Agriculture Productivity Program in the country. The program, being supported by the World Bank, is aimed at improving agricultural activities in West Africa. It is to gulp $136 million, and ECOWAS is to provide $96 million.
And currently, WAP Nigeria is looked upon in the whole West Africa as the pillar of technology innovation in other fields. So we have applied, and we are in constant with the World Bank to extend WAP's program for the next 5 years. So currently, we're just teaming up to get an interim program financing to hold it to 2018, where we will boost it up in a much more larger scale.
Nigeria is among the 12 countries participating in the program in West Africa. Moving on, Nigeria plans to launch a development bank by January to support micro, small and medium enterprises as the country is set to stage made in Nigeria goods in new light on the global market. Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun, in a statement, said the development bank has secured $1.3 billion from the World Bank, while the African Development Bank is investing $500 million in the bank. And on the stock market, the Nigerian Stock Exchange closed on a negative note as the all-share index depreciated by minus 0.29%. That's the size of our package. Please stay tuned for the rest of the news. I am Muplang Dakok.
Many thanks, Muplang. And I'm told Demola is ready now in Lagos. Let's go over to him.
You're welcome back to Lagos. Officers and men of the Nigerian Army have been charged to remain committed to their mandate and uphold the constitutional rules governing the Nigerian military at all times. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, gave the charge at the inauguration of the Nigerian Army Ordnance Headquarters, Albati Barracks, Lagos. Lilinike reports that the heads of military formations were present at the event.
The statutory functions of the Nigerian Army Ordnance Corps is to produce books for the Nigerian Army schools, provide uniforms and other military materials. The Ordnance Corps also ensure uniformity of the dress code for all officers and men. The Chief of Army Staff, while reiterating the importance of the military towards securing the lives and property of Nigerians, urged the officers and men to rise up to the challenge of combating terrorism and other crimes that is threatening the sanctity of Nigeria.
Commanders at all levels must continue to provide the requisite quality leadership and ensure that their personnel are continually reminded of their roles in the current democratic dispensation.
The Army Chief also commended the efforts of the federal government and the military towards the rescue of 21 abducted Chibok school girls.
We're still working on our own strategy, all right? And not only the Chibok girls, but all other persons that have been abducted by the terrorists. It's our plan and it's our objective to see that we rescue everybody.
The commissioned projects include a modern gymnasium, office complex for officers and men of the Ordnance Corps, and a conference hall. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
And in a bid to boost water transportation and positively scale up activities relating to waterways, Lagos State Government has begun the clearing of debris and water hyacinth on Lagos waterways. Nosa Osula reports that the governor has commissioned 2 water hyson and debris removal machines for this purpose.
The governor, who was represented by the Commissioner for the Environment, Dr. Babatunde Adejare, said the machines were purchased by his administration to frontally address the challenges posed by water hyacinths, adding that same was in line with the strategic implementation of Lagos Master Plan for the waterways.
We have bought this harvester. It's a giant one that will take all these things away from our waterways. And we are not just doing this, we are doing it to encourage water transportation, to get our water clean.
Managing Director of Lagos State Waterways Authority, Engineer Abisola Kamsin, said the commissioning was a dream come true, as the machines will go a long way in eradicating the menace of water hyacinths on marine ecosystems of the state, particularly the Ikorodu, Aja, Badagry, Lagos Island, Owuroshoki, Mautu and Ekpe axis. The Commissioner for Tourism, Folarin Koka, said the infrastructure that had just been provided by the government would boost tourism, especially traveling on the state's coastal line, but urged the people to desist from dumping refuse into the lagoon.
So this just means cleaner waters. That means tourists who come to Lagos now, who go to Takwa Bay, will encounter less debris on the way there.
Both water operators commended Governor Ambode and his team for the initiative, saying the machines would go a long way to remove the incessant accidents and engine problems caused by water hyacinths and debris. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News, coming to you from Lagos Network Center. We now take a break for some messages, after which the news continues from Abuja. Stay with us.
As part of the efforts of the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) to promote voluntary compliance and spare taxpayers the burden of carrying forward old tax liabilities arising from penalty and interest, the service wishes to invite all principal officers, especially chairmen, managing directors, chief executive officers, and non-executive directors, chief financial officers, and all company owners or their representatives to take advantage of a special window to avoid payment of penalty and interest on tax due between 2013 and 2015. The service will grant a pardon dating back to 3 years, 2013 to 2015, to all taxpayers if such taxpayers declare their indebtedness within the 45-day special window and present a payment plan on the outstanding principal tax liability acceptable to the FIRS. This window opens on 5th October and closes on 24th November 2016 and relates only to accumulated penalty and interest, not principal tax due. Based on this waiver, part or full payment of undisputed tax liabilities should be made, while the balance can be paid in installments not lower than 25% on account. Failure to take advantage of this special window will result in the FIRS deploying all legal means, including criminal prosecution of board and management of defaulting organizations. Applicants wishing to take advantage of the special window are enjoined to forward their applications to Office of the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, 20 Sokode Street, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Everyday air. Ordinary air. And then there's TomTom Air. There's air, and then there's TomTom Air. What are you breathing?
In life, there are many distractions, but the future is always created by those who can focus on the goal. Techno Phantom 6 with dual back camera and adjustable focusing technology. Never say it, show it.
Hey
Hey, I just had a shower, but why do I still feel so hot and sweaty?
Let me finish this and I will show you something surprising. Let's take a look. See, heat means sweat. Sweat brings germs. Dettol 100 times cool. It removes germs to leave you feeling clean, fresh, and 100 times cool. Beat the heat and germs with Dettol 100 times cool.
Dettol, endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
The Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, is organizing the 3rd National Conference on Registry Administration in the 21st Century. Sub-themes of the conference include overviews of registry administration in the 21st century, the role of ICT in registry administration, preservation and security of electronic records, challenges of registry management in Nigeria, and strategies for improving registry in the 21st century. The conference is specifically designed for registrars, deputy registrars, principal assistant registrars, chief administrative officers, hospital administrators, and desk officers in charge of registries. Date, Tuesday 29th November to Thursday 1st December 2016. Venue, the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, Tokpo Badagry, Lagos. Fee, 70,000 naira only per participant. Arrival date is Monday 28th November 2016. For further inquiries, contact Mrs. C.U. Gaya, MNI, Conference Director, or Odafen Dominic A.O., Conference Coordinator. Announcer, Acting Director General, ASCON.
Thanks for staying on the news. A book entitled Sonte, Betrayers, Loyalists and the Media War has been presented to the public. The book reviewer, Danjuma Adamu, says the material chronicles major political conspiracy in Taraba State following the unfortunate plane crash of October 2012, which involved the former governor of the state, Dambaba Sonte. Ogechi Paul reports.
Present at the book presentation is a roll call of high-caliber politicians and technocrats, particularly those whose duty calls crossed their path with the former governor of Taraba State, Dambaba Damfulani Sonte. They shared fond memories and perceived intrigues that characterize the political climate of the state and beyond.
This book should be a veritable material to understudy loyalty or otherwise of people that walk around people who are in the corridors of power.
Give God the glory for the challenge that Taraba State had to face that led to us today having Governor Darius Ishaku.
This will serve as history not only for Nigerians but for the people of Taraba State.
Most of us who have been in this business called politics will tell you that there are more betrayers than loyalists.
The book reviewer, Danjuma Adamu, says the author attempts to analyze the efforts of different interest groups to outsmart each other as they raced towards the 2015 general elections.
When you are in leadership, you have all-weather friends. And then as soon as something happens to you, you know the true friend. That is what the book reflected.
Author of the book, Emmanuel Bello, served as Commissioner for Information under Sonte.
Basically, yes, it's just to keep history afresh.
Family members of former Governor Sonte said the event is heartwarming. Ogechi Paul, NTA News.
We're set for the historic event. This seems to be the message in every nook and cranny of Benin City as people count down to the coronation of the Crown Prince Eheneden Eredioa as the Oba of Benin. Mohammed Abdelkadri tells us more.
A drive around town reflects the joyous mood of the people looking forward to the grand finale of the coronation of the Oba of Benin.
An exciting time, very, very exciting. If you go to town, you see everybody in a very, very happy mood because of the incoming Oba of Benin, a man that is very well liked by his people.
This is the way we do it in our kingdom. That's the medicine we say. Our Oba is not for sale.
Today is a very good day to us, celebrating the coronation of our monarch to be.
The influx of people from all walks of life is reflected in the traffic situation. Countdown to the coronation, the stage is set, the people are ready, and of course they are dotting the I's and crossing the T's in preparation to giving a befitting coronation to the new Oba of Benin. From Usama Palace in Benin, Edo State, Muhammad Abdelkadri, NTA News.
The stage is really set indeed, Mohammed. Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amusu says acts of lawlessness and disrespect for traffic rules and regulations by motorists on highways should not be condoned. He stated this while directing a convoy of bullion van and escorts driving on one way to turn back and take the proper lane. Lekon Agbode reports.
Busy Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is currently undergoing reconstruction by the federal government, hence the reason for the incessant traffic lock jams frequently experienced on the road. This situation has caused many road users to take some actions against traffic regulations while trying to beat time. This convoy of bullion vans on the way to Lagos State decided to drive against traffic to get to destination on time, but they met the convoy of Ogun State Governor, who was on his way to Abuja from Lagos. The governor expressed disappointment over their action and had to turn them back. He says government will not allow any action that can cause inconvenience to law-abiding citizens of the country. In Abuja, Lekon Agbode, NTA News.
And the federal government has been commended for the political will being demonstrated in the fight against corruption across all strata of public service in Nigeria. Members of the coalition of civil society groups in Nigeria gave the commendation at a courtesy visit to the management of the Nigerian Television Authority in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
With the alleged sting operations by the Department of State Services involving some judges of the Supreme Appeal and High Courts on allegations of corruption and other acts of professional misconduct, the coalition of civil society groups in Nigeria observe it is a clear indication that President Muhammadu Buhari is determined and committed to the fight against corruption.
As our resolve to stop at nothing to ensure that Nigeria regains its image.
It is clear that without the support of NTA, the voices of the few Nigerians who believe in what the government is doing will never be heard.
Director General Nigerian Television Authority Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, represented by the Executive Director News Shola Atere, says all hands must be on deck to effectively tackle corruption in Nigeria.
It is incumbent on us as a nation, as a people, to come together, and redirect our energies, redirect our faculties towards making Nigeria much, much greater.
He reiterated the organization's commitment to partner with government and non-governmental organizations with a view to better reposition the country for the future. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Up ahead, some foreign news, sports update, and Wednesday's weather prospect. Stay with us.
Still on the front burner, the anti-corruption campaign as a responsibility for all. This is the focus this week on NTA Tuesday Live as analysts x-ray the fight against corruption in building a stable socio-economic environment. NTA Tuesday Live, incisive, informative and educative. Join us.
As part of the efforts of the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) to promote voluntary compliance and spare taxpayers the burden of carrying forward old tax liabilities arising from penalty and interest, the service wishes to invite all principal officers, especially chairmen, managing directors, chief executive officers, and non-executive directors, chief financial officers, and all company owners or their representatives to take advantage of a special window to avoid payment of penalty and interest on tax due between 2013 and 2015. The service will grant a pardon dating back to 3 years, 2013 to 2015, to all taxpayers if such taxpayers declare their indebtedness within the 45-day special window and present a payment plan on the outstanding principal tax liability acceptable to the FIRS. This window opens on 5th October and closes on 24th November 2016 and relates only to accumulated penalty and interest, not principal tax due. Based on this waiver, part or full payment of undisputed tax liabilities should be made, while the balance can be paid in installments not lower than 25% on account. Failure to take advantage of this special window will result in the FIRS deploying all legal means, including criminal prosecution of board and management of defaulting organizations. Applicants wishing to take advantage of the special window are enjoined to forward their applications to Office of the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, 20 Sokode Street, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja.
Glad you stayed. And on the foreign scene, United Nations peacekeeping mission in Cote d'Ivoire to end in June 2017 after 12 years of operation. Plus, 4 policemen and other civilians killed as Al-Shabaab militants attack key town near Somalia's capital, Mogadishu. For more global tidbits, let's join Chimdamma Ndubisi.
Kenya's young entrepreneur Michelle Ntalami, who created a 100% organic natural hair line, is employing other young persons in addition to working with her team of hair, chemical